Hey Floyd, what was your reaction to the fight, man? What was your reaction to the fight, man?
Now, who you got one? Lamont. Man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather gave his opinion on the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight, sharing what he thought about the result. The boxing world erupted after the bout ended with a controversial draw. Shocker Stevenson strongly disagreed with the decision, saying Roach clearly won. He criticized Davis for being too confident and not taking Roach seriously enough. Stevenson felt Davis didn't see Roach as a real challenge, which caused him problems in the ring. Many fans shared Stevenson's anger over the outcome.
Now, who you got one? Lamont.
You got Lamont one? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
So what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this. So,
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Is just because could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in? They really.
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was gonna go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Shocker tweeted about the Davis versus Roach fight, saying his prediction came true and calling out people who don't understand boxing. Fans agreed with his take and started calling for a rematch. Well-known boxer and media figure Jake Paul also spoke out, saying Davis didn't fight with the energy expected in a title match. Paul said the fight felt more like a sparring session than a real contest, and that Davis should have done more to make it exciting. He added that Davis didn't look like his usual aggressive self in this bout.
Man, he got lucky as a draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God.
God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on the match, giving credit to Lamont Roach for his impressive performance. Andrade said the fight shouldn't have ended in a draw, and believed Roach had done enough to win. Even with the questionable decision, Andrade praised the overall quality of the fight, pointing out how competitive and skillful both boxers were throughout the bout.
The fight, Roach had something that we all wasn't expecting. He might have had power. His distance was good. He came in ready, prepared to fight, and he showcased that. And man, we had a good fight overall. It was a good IQ fight.
In all honesty, do you think Roach pulled it off?
I'm not gonna say that. I don't think that the draw is good. You know. Other than that, it was a great fight. We'll love to see it again. It's me again, Caleb Plant, Chalo, Munguia, Edgar Belanga. Where the fuck you motherfuckers at? Let's get this shit happen. You already know. Stop playing. Let's get these shits popping, man. Time is ticking. Tick, 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 tick.
I mean, 100%. What do you think about Berlanga's obviously opponent that he chose? I mean,
lightweight contender Isaac Cruz disagreed with the decision to call the fight a draw. He highlighted a key moment when Davis went down on one knee during the match. Cruz felt that the judges and referee didn't give Roach the right points for that event, which could have changed the result. He suggested this mistake played a big part in the draw being an unfair decision.
Pues ahora sí que dieron una gran pelea. Ahora sí que me sorprendió la pelea que dio Lamont Roach y bueno, fue una gran pelea para toda la aficionados.
¿Tú crees que fue un empate?
No, yo creo que no. Creo que le quedaron a deber la caída a Lamont Roach, pero bueno, decisión de los jueces y del referee que no le hizo válida la caída, no le hizo el conteo.
¿Qué le fue mal en esta pelea para Gervonta? ¿Qué fue lo que no hizo para que los jueces le den esta pelea? ¿Tú qué piensas?
Bueno, él nada más apostó a un solo round, que a un solo golpe para poderlo noquear, y el cual Loma venía muy bien preparado, muy bien concentrado en el plan de trabajo. Bueno, creo que a Tank le faltó presionar, tirar más golpes para ser más contundente y que se viera más efectivo a la hora de la victoria.
¿Te gustaría ver una revancha entre ellos?
Pues estaría muy agradable. Ahora sí que la primera estuvo muy buena, yo creo que la segunda también.
Former world champion Danny Garcia looked back on the fight and called it an exciting match that showed off both fighters' talents. When talking about Gervonta Davis, Garcia said that not every night in the ring is a boxer's best and that Davis may have just had a bad night. He stressed how unpredictable boxing can be and how hard it is for fighters to always be at their highest level.
There's no doubt this was they win.
Danny, what's going on, my man? What do you think of the fight?
Stay with me, right?
Danny, what do you think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome? It was a close fight.
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I
said what was wrong with him?
Out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the draw.
Would you like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. It was a good fight.
Longtime boxing commentator Jim Lampley gave his view on the result, saying that draws usually leave both fans and fighters unsatisfied. He mentioned that a lot of people expected Gervonta Davis to win by knockout, especially since Lamont Roach had moved up in weight for this bout. Lampley said Davis's failure to knock Roach out might be seen as a step back in his career and could hurt his reputation in the lightweight division.
Bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots, and he wound up throwing more punches than he likes to throw to get that done. He tagged him both on the chin and to the belly, etc., and couldn't seem to hurt Roach. And that was another surprise in the overall picture of the fight.
Undefeated welterweight champion Terence Crawford used social media to share how shocked he was that the referee didn't count Davis's knee as a knockdown. In his tweet, Crawford showed disbelief and suggested the officials forgot basic boxing rules. He said he had never seen someone take a knee and not have it ruled a knockdown, hinting at poor officiating during the fight.
Oh, and that light, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leading with gravity. He took a knee. He took a knee. What is he doing? I forgot his...
Former 3-division world champion Abner Mares asked for a rematch between Davis and Roach, saying Roach fought just as well as he was capable of. Mares believed Davis and others may have underestimated Roach, which affected how the fight played out. He said a second match would give both boxers the chance to better prepare and come in with smarter game plans.
I thought Roach closed the last 2 rounds, and then if you think about it, that knockdown was a knockdown. He took a knee, they should have counted, and you know those 2 points, like Roach said, you know, it would have been on his favor, and he would have won the fight. But you know, I hope they run it back again, which I'm sure they will, and you know, we get more of a clear, you know, victory for either side.
How much of tonight was Lamont Roach being Lamont Roach, and how much of it was Gervonta Davis maybe not being at his best?
It was more. It was more. Yeah, well said. I think it was more of Lamont being Lamont. A lot of people were not expecting that. He was catching the punches really well, took them well, great combinations, and just stood in the pocket and fought him right in the center of the ring. Even Tank was not expecting that, and I think that threw him off. And you know, great great performance by Lamont Roach, and Tank Davis. He's got to fight more. I mean, he's not as consistent with the fighting, and you know, again, the timing probably wasn't there for him. Just like,
what does it say about Tank, man? Some people had him as high as, you know, top 5, top 10 pound.
You know what that's gonna say about Tank now? Obviously, people are gonna talk shit, and people are gonna, you know, put him, you know, probably take him down on the pound for pound list, and you know. know, it is what it is. But so that's why Tank has to come back and really get that rematch and really make a statement, if it's with him or whoever else.
And lastly, Adam, you know, people want to know who's the best lightweight. Is it Keyshawn, Shakur, Tank? Do you think he can still beat those guys, or did Lamont show some things tonight that those guys are just?
Oh, Lamont's definitely there. Lamont can fight any of these guys.
Yeah.
A boxer from Washington, D.C. spoke about the possible consequences of the controversial result, saying Gervonta Davis's passionate and youthful fan base might respond badly. He pointed out a strong wave of negative energy surrounding the event and said it's important to handle fans' reactions carefully when emotions are high in such important matches.
My reaction for this Tank versus Roach fight, I'm really disappointed, to be honest. Like, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and the reason why is they leaving a negative energy out there. And a lot of y'all might not understand because y'all don't come from underserved environments or was never incarcerated or things like that. I'm from DC, and I know how we get active. I know people from Baltimore, and I know how they get active. When we talk about rivalries are cool. When I'm talking Commanders, Cowboys, stuff like that, that's friendly and cool. We talk our trash, but when we talking about when it's negative and we know that Tank have a young following and things like that, and I'm seeing certain people at these press conferences, violent individuals, and things can really turn out bad. So yeah, I understand they selling the fight and things like that, but certain things, it can get real bad. And I don't want to see nobody lose their life. Let this be a healthy rivalry. Y'all go in there, best man win, and fight over. It should be all love. We got to be careful of the messaging that we putting out. It's Mr. We Fit.
In his comments after the fight, Gervonta Davis said the match was good for boxing and gave Lamont Roach credit as a tough opponent. He admitted that fans expect knockouts from him because of his past record, and that a draw is not the outcome someone with his status wants. Davis showed he understands how high the expectations are and acknowledged the skills Roach brought into the ring.
Good night for the sport. Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, it's KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, you know, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, you know, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was.
Calvin Ford, Gervonta Davis's trainer, repeated what he had said before about Lamont Roach, stating that he had always respected Roach's abilities. Ford's remarks show that Davis's team was aware of how dangerous Roach could be and recognized that the fight was going to be a hard one for both sides.
Good night for the sport. Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, it's KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, you know, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, you know, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds.
That's why we need, what is it called? Yeah, man.
Roach's performance got a lot of praise, with many saying he was the first boxer to really push Davis to his limits. Fans have been asking for a rematch, and can Roach earn another shot to prove himself?
Lamont Roach definitely earned my respect tonight. Definitely one of the first fighters to put Tank to the test. Was matching fire with fire. That was a good fight. For me, I need to see a rematch ASAP. But yeah, Tank definitely took the knee 100%. I see Roach winning that 7-5 personally, but boxing is business, so they were never going to let him have that win. Roach's timing was on point though. No easy knockouts tonight. The sharp counters, like, real, very good fighter, very good fighter. Let me know what you guys think, if that robbery was fair or not. Leave it in the comments.
Many fans and experts are still saying that Roach got robbed, especially because Davis went down to a knee, but wasn't given a knockdown. This moment has become a major reason why people are calling for another fight between them.
Lamont Roach just got cheated. And Lamont Roach's fight versus Tank Davis just ended in a draw. And based on what I just seen, he was winning the fight. But you know what makes it worse? What makes it worse is Tank Davis took a knee. When you take a knee in boxing, that's supposed to be an automatic knockdown. They literally let Tank Davis take a knee. Referee wanted the count. He chose not to count. He went to the corner, wiped off his hair, wiped off his eye, and then kept fighting. And to me, that makes no sense. How are you able to do that and not be a knockdown? Yo, boxing is crazy, bro. This stuff is wild. And you know what makes it even wilder? His excuse said, I just got my hair done and my hair was in my eye. Bro, cut your hair. This is boxing, man. Y'all dudes be trying to look too pretty. But with all that being said, it was a great fight. I just hate the ending. Give that man Lamont Roach the knockdown so he could go ahead and win.
For the first time in his career, Davis didn't get a knockout win, and some of his fans were upset. Some even booed him after the match. This showed how much people expect from him every time he steps into the ring.
Oh my god, Gervonta just lost his perfect record. His fight with Lamont Roach was scored as a majority draw. Roach threw more punches and landed more punches on Gervonta. Just look at the numbers. And was this a knockdown? Roach after the fight wasn't satisfied, and he said if that was scored as a knockdown, he would have won the fight tonight. Gervonta after the fight said that some grease from his hair just got in his eyes and he couldn't see well. Crowd started booing Tank, his own crowd. We all know boxing fans. They love you one day, they hate you one day. That's exactly what Tank said. But what do you think really happened? Was that because Lamont is really that guy? Or is it because Tank really needs to take time to himself, retire, go back to school as he mentioned? I don't know. But you go ahead and comment. Let's talk about it.
Well, both of us back today was that again. Nobody won. Nobody won. He just said that, I didn't get knocked out. That's the only thing that's good to say. I didn't get knocked out. Maybe that was his championship because he did. You know what I'm saying? He fought a brilliant fight. Salute goes off to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank was talking about retirement stuff. That might change that. We don't know. We have to wait and see.
The great Gervonta Tank Davis. He's returning to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach, who is moving up from super featherweight. Tank Davis is these days kind of averaging 1 fight a year, which is a shame. He wants to have 3 more fights and then retire by the end of 2025. Does he get 3 fights this year? Does he actually retire by the end of the year? Who knows? But this may be one of the last times we see him, at least for now. So catch him while you can. One of the most exciting, one of the most hard-hitting fighters in the sport, and we suspect once again that he wins, and I suspect that he wins via stoppage once again. He is one of the hardest hitting guys in the history of the sport, and we suspect that if he gets by Roach, there could be some big fights on the horizon this year. We don't know, but he's got to get by Lamont Roach first. That test goes down this Saturday in Brooklyn.